Hey guys, so welcome to Booze and Movies, where I review a movie and I review a booze. Today the booze is the Christian Brothers brandy. Let's try it out. Doesn't smell very good. It's not very good. It's a Christian Brothers brandy. It tastes like brandy, but just a bad version. It's funny because on the bottle it says very smooth. It ain't. That's really the problem with it. It does have a pretty robust taste. The aftertaste isn't bad. But, yeah, no, it just tastes like a crappy booze. Well, just a crappy brandy. Oh, but the movie! Captain America Civil War. We're all excited for that one. I know I am. Alright, so Captain America Civil War. What's the plot of this movie? Well, the plot of this movie really is simple. It's Captain America starts it off, and he and a few other Avengers are avenging. And there's a problem, some innocent people die, and then the government, and specifically this Colonel, General, some higher up motherfucker, comes in and he tells the Avengers, like, okay, you need someone to oversee you because you're causing problems. Like, there's been deaths in New York where you saved the world, in Sokovia where you saved the world, in DC where you saved the world. All these places where you, like, keep saving the world, there's, like, a small number of casualties. And, you know, clearly that's so bad that you just need, like, freaking leash holders who will tell you when, where, and if you're gonna go do anything productive. And Tony Stark is like, yeah, seems legit. How about the UN? And Captain America's like, no, I trust myself. I trust these people I fight alongside to make these decisions, so I don't feel I need a caretaker. I am a goddamn adult. More than that, I'm a goddamn superhero. And so there's a civil war. Now, the first thing I want to bring up about this movie is the characters. They are all expertly handled. You have the introduction of Black Panther and Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I thought both of them shone very much. Spider-Man, I'm not going to say he's the greatest Spider-Man ever. This is the best action with Spider-Man ever. But, you know, I need to see more before I can really say whether he's the best. Like, I mean, he's in the movie for, like, 10 minutes. Come on, don't tell me he's already the best. Black Panther, I liked him in the movie the most. Like, he really shone in this movie to me. Partly because he's the only character in the movie with an arc. Like, everyone else pretty much begins where, you know, over here, and yeah, they go to a dark place, but everyone pretty much just comes back to where they were. No one else really has an arc. Also, Chadwick Boseman and that, like, African accent, like, I'm not gay, but, you know, if he invited me out for a couple of drinks and, you know, he played his cards right, things could happen. Anyway, now I'm going to pause awkwardly because I need a drink. God, that is awkward. Black Widow, I also really loved. She kind of takes over as the heart and soul of the team that Hawkeye was in Age of Ultron. I thought that was interesting. She ultimately sides with Tony Stark, who she has a lot of history with, but she can still communicate really well with Captain America and his side because of the history she has with him. Like, those three characters and Ant-Man, I can't say why Ant-Man really shone that much without there being plots unraveled, but those four characters I think shone the most to me. Cap and Iron Man are fine. Iron Man I have some gripes about. I'll talk about that later. Bucky, the Winter Soldier, I thought, compared to a lot of the other characters, kind of paled in comparison. So that's what I think about the characters. So the other really good thing I have to talk about in this movie is the action. Like, the camera work, the dialogue, everything about this movie is pretty good. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I do think Joss Whedon would have made this movie funnier, especially if he had been able to work with the character of Ant-Man and Spider-Man. But the Russo brothers, what they add is the action. Like, this movie, it's action-packed. It is fun. This is the most fun action I might have ever seen. Drink. I should set up rules for, like, when I drink during the review. That'd be fun. Anyway, the action in this, especially the scene in the airport, that was the most fun action set piece I think I have ever seen. It was great. And the airport scene alone in this film, it's worth the price of admission whether you go in and watch it 3D or 2D. But now I have to get to the parts of the movie that bothered me. And those parts are, okay, first of all, I'll start with the usual with Marvel. The villain sucked. He's there and he's like, I got a sad sex story. You should feel sorry for me because blah, 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 usual reasons. And it was strange to me, but in the film, I could tell when I was watching it, when they cut to a scene that was going to be about the villain, like, the quality of the film seemed to change. It was, like, less polished or something. I don't know, but I could tell just the moment the camera focused in, I was like, oh, nope, this is a scene with the villain. Might as well get out my phone and play Tetris. And the villain, I think with a little bit of creativity, they could have written him out entirely. He's not good. I'm sure the actor who plays him is fine. Like, there's nothing to do with the acting that bothered me, but the villain is just so vanilla, and he doesn't really add much to the plot, and every time I saw him, I was just like, get back to the good part of the movie. Okay, the other bad thing I gotta say about this is Iron Man has become a parody of himself. Like, Iron Man folds under this general dude's influence right away. I mean, don't you remember the first 3 Iron Man movies? Like, it's all about how Tony Stark's Iron Man, not because he just has a suit, but it's because his personality, it's because of his drive, it's because of his heroism. That's what makes him Iron Man. In this, he's like, no, I'm fine being a government puppet. And okay, I could understand if it was like, okay, we need to be controlled, and it was someone like Nick Fury who was calling the shots. Nick Fury's not in this, by the way, even though you'd think he would be. But if it was someone like that, I'd be like, okay, I can see it, but they want the UN to do it, a bunch of fucking politicians? Fuck you, movie. I don't want the politicians controlling my fucking Avengers. So, that really pissed me off. It pissed me off that Iron Man's character started off so strong. In Iron Man and in the first Avengers, I mean, he was the best Avenger, bar none. And now, honestly, besides Rhodey, who's Iron Man's sidekick, Iron Man is my least favorite Avenger, and that really bothers me. So, in closing, this is actually not the first glass of this I've had, by the way. Like, I had one before, and I did a review, but it was, like, really long, so I just deleted fucking all of it and started again. So this is my second glass, which explains why I might sound even drunker than you'd imagine. In closing, this isn't bad. Like, I'd call it 4 out of 10. Like, it doesn't give you a hangover. I've drunk this before. It's, you know, it's brandy, so I like brandy, but this isn't a very good brandy. Oh, you probably were, like, thinking about the movie. Yeah. The movie, it's 8 out of 10. Yeah, I have a lot of gripes with the plot. I hate that Tony Stark now is a parody of what he was in the first Iron Man movie, but the action in this is so fun and so amazing that you should go see it. This story, yeah, it has problems, but especially if you love these characters, you will love this movie. There's no doubt in my mind that if you are a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this film will impress you. So, this has been Booze and Movies. I'm out!